This Good Morning Northwest morning sprint is brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's 53, time to get you ready to take on your Thursday with the morning sprint.
City Charles with the latest on Capitol Hill as the House fails to elect a speaker for the second day in a row.
Mark Peterson telling us about a series of rain and snow showers moving in.
But let's get right to Destiny Richards, who's live in Idaho ahead of Bryan Kohberger's scheduled first appearance in court today.
Kohberger's court process begins today. He is the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students back in November, and now he is in Idaho. It was a long journey from his arrest in Pennsylvania to getting here to the Pullman Moscow airport last night, but we know he makes his first court appearance in Idaho today. We don't know exactly what time that will be, but we're also working to see if the probable cause affidavit information will be unsealed. That'll give us more information to what led to his arrest. But of course, we'll give you all that information right here and on KXLY.com when that becomes available.
Well, Kohberger left the Inland Northwest as a grad student, but returned as a suspected murderer. The father of one of his old friends in Pennsylvania shares the strange changes in his behavior and personality that pushed friends away. Tom Arndt says the last time he saw Kohberger was when he was working as a security guard in Pennsylvania. Arndt says he'd lost a lot of weight and looked very different. Over time, his kids said Kohberger became aggressive over the years and always wanted to be the center of attention. To read further details about what Arndt's kids said about Kohberger's personality, go to our website, KXLY.com.
All right, good morning, everybody. In our first alert weather, we're awaiting what is the moisture coming out of California. We're seeing that in and around us and to the north in the form of snow rolling into the Colville National Forest and then coming into North Idaho. We're going to continue to see that potential now that we have some rain, snow, or freezing rain potential in around Cheney, working its way up through I-90 and then heading towards us. So caution advised on those untreated roadways. We're expected to see these showers through the middle of the day. This afternoon, scattered showers, but our high will be above average at 35 degrees.
Health experts believe watching out for new coronavirus variants will be increasingly important to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the new year. The latest Omicron subvariant now accounts for more than 40% of U.S. COVID-19 cases. The COVID surge in China has prompted the U.S. to require a negative COVID test for all travelers from China beginning today. Some health experts say this travel requirement is important as new variants are likely to emerge in the future.
Safety concerns shut down the emergency room at Providence Sacred Heart last night. The emergency room was closed while the Spokane Police Explosive Disposal Unit investigated. According to Providence Sacred Heart, explosive materials were found on a trauma patient who was flown from Oregon for treatment. Those materials were taken outside of the patient care area to a place where they could be isolated. Police are still investigating.
As Spokane grows, more students are enrolling at Spokane Public Schools. To keep up, the district changed its boundaries. Last year, some Northside families saw their kids sent to a different school. Well, if your child's school will be changing next year and you don't want that to happen, now is the time to make that request. The enrollment window opened on Monday. Families have the option to choice in, meaning they can request the school they want their child to attend. Parents will need to provide transportation if their choice in school is approved. You have until February 15th to request changes.
And the vote for House Speaker is still at an impasse this morning. Now, Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy is reportedly offering new concessions after losing a 6th vote for House Speaker. These are a list of some of the concessions. One includes a rule change. It would allow one member of the House to call for a vote to oust the future Speaker down from the original 5 members required by a previous deal. Still, it now appears unlikely that McCarthy will be able to get enough votes. The House is set to return at 9 o'clock our time this morning, but until a speaker is chosen, the House can't pass bills or even swear in new members. Coverage on the standoff on Capitol Hill will continue on Good Morning America.
Pope Francis paid tribute to his predecessor, Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, in a funeral today at St. Peter's Square in Vatican City. The funeral was the first in modern times that a pontiff had presided over the funeral of a predecessor. Benedict, the first pontiff in nearly 600 years to resign his position rather than hold office for life, died December 31st at 95 years old.
President Biden says he plans to give a border security speech today and will visit the U.S.-Mexico border next week. The border visit will come during his trip to the North American Leaders Summit in Mexico City. It'll mark Biden's first visit to the border since he took office. All right, coming up after this quick 75-second timeout, Mark Peterson will have your final check of the weather. Don't go away.